Welcome everybody to episode 2 of Channel 13. And today I got one of my dear friends with me. His name is Joe Duncan. Joe Duncan, how you doing today?
Doing well, and yourself?
Doing super.
13.
Tell us a little bit about you, man. Where you from? First of all, your name, where you from, you know, any information we need to know about you.
Well, I'm Joe Duncan, born and raised right here in Montgomery, Alabama. Been all over the city, living throughout at many addresses in the city prior to being in my own home.
Okay.
So stayed in a lot of the projects in the city, throughout the city, you know, from that standpoint. And from me moving from place to place, growing up with my mom, I started in the real estate after I got old enough, and I moved that way now.
Oh, you going a little fast. We'll get into the real estate piece in a second. But you said you lived all over
the city,
all over the city of Montgomery.
That is correct.
In other places you live?
Well, once I got in the military, addresses changed from that standpoint. But most.
Hold on, wait. You went to the military. Tell us about your military career.
Well, my military career is a 20-year stint. I left in 1990, joined the military. My first duty station was overseas in Stuttgart, Germany. Went from there to Fort Benjamin Harris, Indiana. Went to several other installations after basic training, from Fort Jackson, you know, back to Fort Benjamin Harris, which is now closed. Down to spend some time over in Italy, Vicenza, and back to the United States, and down in Tampa, Florida, as we speak.
Okay, so you in Tampa right now? You're in Tampa.
I'm
Florida.
in Tampa.
Okay, so. What's unique about Joe Duncan, family-wise or personal life? What's unique about you?
Well, I would say what's unique about me is I consider myself to be an introvert, but I watched everything. Leadership traits was there, even growing up in the courts and things of that nature. I noticed people would always do what I asked them to do, not because I ran an iron fist, but because of my leadership skills from that standpoint. And I always had a lot of respect from that standpoint.
Okay. Well, with your leadership skills, see, what I was meaning about what was unique about you, because we have you here on Channel 13, we trying to find out why would people want to even listen to Joe Duncan. You know, I know why people should listen to Joe Duncan.
Yes.
You know, I want to give you a chance to blow your own horn a little bit, but I know that's hard to do. Most times it's best to let other people do that.
It is, and I try to remain humble for the most part because of my background, because of my history. But now the history is coming to fruition now. So I didn't talk as much at first, but now I got a lot to say. So I talk a little more now, you know.
What's different though about your upbringing, your past and today?
Well, my upbringing was, I watched a lot. I was in the observation mode for the most part, watching older guys do different things, younger guys do different things, and peers on my same level do some of the same things. And I gleaned from each of them what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to kick out. And I learned strength, I learned weaknesses, I learned what to and what not to do by observing them from that standpoint. So that kind of made me a whole person and not a partial person, because I pride myself on not just being holy, but being whole.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you mentioned the part about not just being holy, because Channel 13 is not really just about church, but it's where life kind of intersects with, with religion, with spirituality, with just life itself, because there's different types of people in different places and they walk. But I really wanted you on here today because you was talking about the real estate. If you said you grew up in the projects and you did you come from a fluid background at all? I just wanted
no affluent background, none whatsoever. Not that I recognized from my growing up. Now somebody else might have recognized something, but just being raw and uncut, no.
Well, not you didn't grow up in an affluent neighborhood.
No affluent. Didn't even grow up in a neighborhood. Grew up in the projects. From that standpoint. When I made it to a neighborhood, that showed me a different light, a different side that I can take on from that standpoint.
Okay. Well, so the thing that I really wanted people to know about you today is that, you're pretty knowledgeable about real estate game. One thing I always noticed about you, you said you're not a flipper.
I'm not, and I hold true to that today.
What's the difference between a flipper? What's the difference between a flipper and what you do?
Well, I always wanted to retain some income, and a flipper to me is a lump sum payment. You buy and you sell. My entry into the game from my standpoint, because it is a game, and you just have to learn how to play the game according to what parts you have to put into the game. So I always desired to have income coming monthly. Because I knew if I got a big lump sum, I'm gonna spend big. So I needed a way to slow it down. It's just like drinking a cold beverage and a hot beverage. I needed something to dial me down, and that's what a hot beverage do for me. I can't go up a hot beverage, so I had to sip on it.
So you're a big spender. So you say
I'm a big spender, but I don't spend all the time in a big way.
Okay.
I wait till I'm at that point to get what I want. Everything you can't sell me on.
Okay.
I got certain properties that I look for, certain design, certain creation, and if I can't get what I want, I'll wait until I get to the point where I can get it.
How many properties? Have you owned at one time at your max?
I've owned 59 properties at one time.
At one time,
yes, and that's me and my family. And when I say my family, my wife and kids.
Your wife and kids.
Yes.
Now, for a lot of people who's watching this right here, it sounds great, sounds dandy, man. That this guy here said 50. That's right. That's a lot of properties. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And a lot of people can watch you and can say, well, this guy got a lot of property, but he's different than me. You know, he done something that I wasn't able to do, or something that's impossible. That's why actually what made you unique, or what made you special. You know, is this something anybody can do?
It's something anybody can do, but not everybody wants to do it. From a standpoint, they think it takes too much to do it. Once you get your first property, you'll ask yourself the question, why haven't I been doing this?
Well, you know, what if you get a bad property? I got a couple of properties, and it wasn't necessarily I didn't make the best deals.
Now, when you talking deals, it's all relative from that standpoint. Because I can go in a what I call a bad property, and it's, in my mindset, it's cosmetics.
Okay.
Long as I'm getting what I'm looking for, I target brick structure properties. I don't target wooden frame properties, things of that nature that I'm looking for permanent fixture, foundation solid, things of that nature. That's what I'm looking for. And so when I go in, if I see sheetrock busted out, and a lot of times I don't let my wife come through because a lot of that's a turnoff for her. But I see it as cosmetics from that standpoint. Go in and put in new sheetrock, new paint, fresh smell. Most people forget they on that side of town because I buy on the side of town that's affordable. Now, I bought some high-end properties, true, but most of my income came from where I grew up at and what I grew out of. And those are affordable from my standpoint.
Okay. So it wasn't about, buying the most expensive places.
No, most definitely not. When I first got started, I started with targeting property at $30,000 and under. That was my piece.
Was it? Wait a minute, $30,000.
$30,000.
Was the house actually valued at $30,000? That was your budget of doing it.
That was my budget. That's the only amount I wanted to spend on purchasing the home, not the refurbishing piece.
Because I've heard a lot of people, they can qualify for so much house, but they say, what a $30,000 house look like? But you're not talking about the actual value of the property was $30,000. That's how much you was.
That was my budget I wanted to spend on the property.
When you mean spend, what do you mean?
Pay out of pocket.
Pay out of pocket.
$30,000.
Well, how about the renos too? The renovations.
The renovation, I started off high end. It ranged anywhere from $18,000 to $25,000. So that's $25,000.
So you close to
50,000 in the property from that standpoint.
Okay.
Then I teamed up with a guy that I came in and negotiated a piece over a decade ago, and my number was, if I can get in and out of the property as far as 13.5, if I put 30 in it, I'm 43.5 in it now. And I asked him, because out of the 59 that I own, he did about 34 of those properties, refurbishing them. Okay. So we set a price, and I'm just blunt, raw and uncut. I said, can you do the property from roof to floor for 13.5? Because he told me it averaged around $18,000. And he said, Joe, I can do that for you. And I said, if you can live with that, we can continue to do business. And that's how we built a relationship from that standpoint and grew.
Well, two questions out of that right there. One, with that 13.5, what would that be kind of equivalent to now? You know, things are inflated.
I would say that probably almost a double, at least 25K.
At least 20, 25, 26.
And that's going to be based on the upgrades I want in it now.
What you want?
From the countertops to what type flooring I want.
It could be less.
It could always be less. Absolutely.
All right. Second question with that is, look, man, I know somebody's just saying $50,000 is a lot of money, you know, or $30,000, you know. How do a person come about that part? See, that's the part I think when I listen to people talk about people trying to build any kind of wealth or success of any kind of thing in financial areas, they always try and wonder where the beginning part started, you know.
Well, from my standpoint, I didn't have $50,000 in my pocket.
Okay.
This came from creditors, you know, people's credit, as you referred to, that I often refer to you about. You know, you can find people with favor that can do certain stuff for you after you done did it for a while.
See, look, we had to talk a little bit about that people credit in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I like to use people credit. I like to talk about people credit.
Yes.
Could you explain how you understand people credit and how you used it?
How I understand people credit is when you don't have the funding to do things, and it's favor that people you use from other people to get things done from that standpoint. Or they'll come to you and say, no, you ain't got to pay me for that.
Because they trust you. And
they trust me. And they see some things they can glean knowledge, information, and wisdom from to do anything they want to do. Because it all boils down to principle from that standpoint. If you can take the principle from anything, because everything speaks. And what I mean by everything speaks, it's talking to you, whether you're listening or not, verbal or nonverbal.
Well, I didn't want to cut into that, but you kind of made me think about my book, you know, before trying to get rich. You know, how to stop being poor before trying to get rich. And that was one of the things I was talking about, people credit. Now, these things I had to actually learn the hard way. It's amazing that you already had enough character and that kind of thing to build that where you could have that. Okay. And I know it could be other ways. You know, sometimes people get money, they get income tax returns, they can save a little money aside. But I think a lot of times we don't want to make those sacrifices to go to the next level. You think that's part of it?
That's exactly part of it. Because they can take that money and they can see what else they can do with it till they ain't got it no more. Now they want it. I could have did this. I could have did that. See, I would tell most people, from my standpoint, it's a lot of things we can do better. From a standpoint, a lot of stuff we learned after the fact. Like you hear Monday quarterback, that's what people use after the fact.
Right.
And could I have been a better husband, better dad? Absolutely. Very few things I've gotten into and I've done that turned out like I intended, but it was tolerable. So I could look back and make some adjustment, make some correction, saying I would do this different. That's like using my name on a business. I wouldn't do that personally because too many attachments and too many political moves come against you from that standpoint. So if I had it in a different name, I can do business with my business as Joe Duncan through another name.
Okay, all right. So you're going fast. So what do you mean by doing it in another name? Because, you know, do I just get me a pseudo name, Butter Bread Company?
Now you want to have something that's solid from that standpoint that people can recognize, and some people can get away with some of that from that standpoint. But I wouldn't put it like Duncan Plus.
But you mean a legal entity though? That's
a legal entity, absolutely.
Okay. Not a sole proprietor.
No, because I can do business from myself to my business, or from my business to myself from that standpoint, and still stay legal.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. All of that is legal.
Absolutely,
all that's legal. So again, I think what you're saying, you had to want to do it.
Desire,
because you can have people's credit, and you can waste it. You can buy something silly with it.
Yes.
Or you can have real actual credit. You know, institutional credit, and you can still go out and just waste it too.
Absolutely.
A lot of what do you call it, consumer debt. Or you could just take your money, hard-earned money, savings, or a lump sum money you get, and you can still blow it too.
Yes.
You were saying you should try and increase that money?
Have a combination. And I'm gonna tell you, people credit from a standpoint that I understand it has nothing to do with DTI, your debt to income. You know, and most people don't realize that from that standpoint. So when I say I had people credit, and you taught me that word, you ought to coin it. But
I coined it. That's me.
When I was a little boy, probably a little lad, 8 to 12, I can say when I asked somebody to do something for me, a lot of times I don't like to say I told them, but that's what I was doing. I was telling them what to do, and they was responding. That's people credit. I ain't had no money to give them.
Right.
You know, I just had instruction.
But it had to be something about you.
Yes.
To have people credit. Because some people ain't worth the salt that go in their bread, man. You know, and some people, man, I wouldn't trust them at all for no reason.
And see, I like people that talk full disclosure and transparency. My guy that used to do all the refurbishing for me, I took him to a property. And I said, take a look at this and tell me what you think. He said, Joe, it ain't worth the dirt it's sitting on. and I like downright dirty conversation from that standpoint. He said, this ain't good for nothing but pushing over.
Woo.
And I say, I appreciate it. Because I knew how to operate from that standpoint. He says, termite infested. It ain't what you're really looking for from that standpoint. And then he came on down the road after I started growing in the business and doing stuff at a different level. Like I say, the way I do properties, and I tell anybody this, I hadn't did a property that I wouldn't live in with my family.
That you wouldn't live in?
That I would not.
Okay, so
live in. So I do them to that level.
Top notch, I got you.
If I do it to that level, I know somebody will go in it and enjoy it.
Well, do you have a high turnover rate in your rentals?
Only turnover rate I've had, and it's just being honest, is when people decide to relocate, get out, or I had to put them out based on, and that's been real low because they didn't pay. And I'm gracious enough to give them time to pay while they paying, because I understood from my background how we used to get put out. And I didn't know where I was getting put out. Mama just made us feel good about going from place to place. We go in, clean it up, lights working. And like I say, I still do that, but on the investment side now. And it disturbs my wife because I move like that. Because I see transactions, I see deals now. And she likes to have a solid address. All the kids can grow up in and say, this was the address all our life. That wasn't me.
Family house.
Absolutely.
Family house.
Absolutely.
Well, how much do you think you spent on your first property? Don't tell me how much you spent on. Tell me about your first property, not your residential, but your first rental property.
Investment property.
Yeah, your first investment property.
My first investment property, if anybody familiar with Montgomery, was in the Buckingham neighborhood. Okay. I lived in that neighborhood around the street from it. I bought the property. I was going to a barber, and the guy that owned the barber shop told me I was looking for somebody to do the renovation on it.
Hold on, quick. Now, you was not planning on getting 59 houses at that time.
Oh, no, not even close.
This just was your first one.
Absolutely.
Right, go ahead.
This was my first property. So he said it's going to be pretty pricey because he don't like refurbishing. He like new construction. So I told myself, when I heard that, I didn't tell him, I said, I ain't going to even negotiate it. Whatever he tell me, that's what we're going to do. So I asked him what his price was. And it was around 18.3. He said, after we did the walkthrough, we do a pre-walkthrough and then we do a post-walkthrough. But this guy here was so well established, he didn't charge me anything up front. We always paid on the back end after we did the final walkthrough.
Wait. Say that again. Say that slow.
This gentleman that I was dealing with here in this company didn't charge me anything on the front end.
Tried to do the work.
Do the work.
Okay.
He understood business from a standpoint, and I guess he could pick up on vibes or discernment or whatever word they want to use that this guy's for real.
Well, you know, Joe, it took me a long time. See, most people used to being paid on Friday.
Okay.
Or they used to get they want a check.
Yeah.
Some people that understand any type of business, they want a customer.
Gotcha.
They don't want just a check. So they want like you same with your rental.
Yes.
You want the income to keep coming. So maybe he understood that. You know, when I work for people, I don't take a dime from people until I'm finished. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And when you pay me, that meant you were satisfied.
Yes.
And so it took me a long time to get to that point. And I think that was great about that guy. But so I was wondering, he waited till after the deal was
after the final walkthrough.
After the final walkthrough.
Because if my wife walked through and inspected and saw something wrong, he didn't want no payment until it was completed.
I understand.
Yeah.
He want that being satisfied.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then finish telling me about how you financed it.
Still on the first one.
What you did.
I went through the credit union on this one. financed it through a credit union. Because what I do, and I'll be honest with anybody, I do homework. I go down to the tax assessor. I paid $22,000 for this property. It's still under 30. They had it taxed assessed at 75.
Wow.
So I knew I had room to work. If I got this property done, and I understood stuff as I continue to get into it. So 25, paid him 18 because this is what he was charging up front. So I'm about 40 into it. Mm-hmm. But it's valued at 75. Tax assessors, and normally tax assessors is low. Mm-hmm. So after I did the homework on that, I said, well, I'm doing the work. I'm going to get it reappraised. Got it reappraised. Now it's a higher dollar amount.
Okay.
So now I said, I'm going to go in and pull the equity out. I want to pull enough equity out.
Okay. Now I understand what that is, but
okay.
Maybe we got listeners don't know what pulling the equity out mean. What is that really?
What is it really taking place? I'm going to get a tenant in there. We're going to get the dollar amount. And my first one was only $600 a month. The numbers made sense to the lending institution from that standpoint.
So you refinanced the house?
I refinanced at the higher dollar rate,
I got you.
Which the 600 still fell in that and still made some money and pulled 40,000 out.
Okay.
Did that to go buy my next two.
Oh, so you didn't go buy no car with that next?
Absolutely
not.
You
didn't go buy no gold chain like you wear right there?
No, I had this when I came in.
So you already had that then.
I had that, but I wanted better.
But that's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah. It wasn't time to go blow that money. It wasn't time to go spend. It was time to play the game again.
Time to play the game again. And I think this came from me playing with my cousin. I played the game of Monopoly when I was small. I was good at it.
Okay.
Ain't nobody tell me I was good at it, but I enjoyed that play money, buying houses, and I picked up on it. So I got into the 4 houses in a hotel. Mm-hmm. You know, from that standpoint, I bought one little small hotel and set it up from that standpoint and tried to contract out with Alabama State for their honor student because I did it to that magnitude from that standpoint. But I did learn a lot from playing the game of Monopoly, playing with play money till I got some real money to play with.
Okay, all right, now. That was your first property, and you bought your second property from the refi money. Did you do that again and again and again?
I did it again and again and again. But this time, I was able to get all the equity out. And what I mean by equity, all the money, because I'm buying them out right now.
Okay, buying them straight out.
Straight out.
And so now you got the money.
Putting the 13.5 into them, redoing them.
Now, I'm cutting you off because I brag about you all the time. You know, you somebody I know that do this.
Okay.
I mean, one time you told me you had 50-some houses. I don't remember how many exactly it was at that time.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I think it was right around 50 or something like that.
Okay.
Or 30-something. I can't remember what you, but you had quite a few of them that did not have a note on them.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Over 32. It was about 32.
I remember that real good.
Unencumbered.
Blew my mind.
Didn't owe nobody nothing on it.
Blew my mind.
Yes.
So I don't never pocket watch nobody. And I don't want you to tell nobody how much money you have. But at that time, my mind started working because I did have a rental property myself.
Okay.
And so when I had the rental property myself, I was thinking like, you know, well, if you got 30 properties that don't have a note on it, you made $100 profit on the house. That's $3,000 a month.
Off 100.
I say, well, if he got, but these ain't got no note on them.
Yeah.
So I said, if he making $200 off these house profit, that's $6,000. If he making $4,000, that's $12,000 a month off of. But I say, if he just was on the low end, just charging $400 in rent, I was like, man, he's got a nice little penny coming in off of just those properties that don't have any notes on them. So in my mind, I was thinking like, man, that's amazing. That's better than going out buying the latest Jordans.
Yeah.
Because now you got that much money coming in, you can buy the latest Jordans if you want to. Is that how it works?
Absolutely. Those are the toys. And that's what I teach my kids. I said, don't go buy the toys before you have something to pay for the toys. Gotcha. And what I meant by that, get you a property, get you some equity in them, you know, build it up. Then I'm going to show you how to pull the equity out. But I don't want you to pervert this gift from that standpoint that you're getting out there smoking, drinking, hoeing off, doing those things that going to cost you. Because they're going to cost you. You don't break laws, you violate them, and they break you.
You got that right.
So when I was able to teach and put it out from that perspective, understanding came through my family. I had very few folks that went to church with me that I knew that bought anything from me. I did a teaching at this church one time, and we had a good gathering come, but the only people that decided to purchase from it was outsider from that standpoint. Right. They caught it. They caught the principle.
Well, a lot of times this is what I believe. I believe a lot of times church people, that we're looking for a blessing. We're looking for
help us.
And what we think about the blessing is we're looking for the easy I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to know
Wrong
nothing
answer.
kind of thing. I just want, I want, you know, God's my genie and he just gonna give me what I want. I'm a child of the king. That kind of talk. They do that. I'm a child of the king. And I can just squander everything that I have. No. And I think, I mean, we don't say that outright, but that's the behavior
that's
a lot
the
of us have.
demonstration you see.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, but I think people outside of, you know, that don't supposed to have walk around righteous and have faith in God, they actually understand more, you know, real biblical principles about how to live, even though they might wind up going to hell. And it's sad to say, though.
It is. It really is. Yes.
So, but so what kind of things were you teaching in that class? Because that's something I really would like to see you put together, some kind of class or course. And if you're watching this video, if you're watching it this far, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, contact me. Let me know if you would like to see Joe do some type of teaching, or comment if you'd like to see him do some type of teaching. Would you be interested in taking one of his classes? Because I could tell you stories that how you know, just knowing Joe has impacted my life, but I don't. It's not about me today. It's about Joe, and I really wanted everybody to meet Joe that don't know Joe. I wanted people that's not even here, because I know he know a lot of people, and I know he got respect everywhere. But I wanted more people to know what he knows, and it ain't about your lineage and who had money before you and stuff like that. But how has your faith in God, you know, worked?
Well,
in this whole thing?
I'll be honest with you. I'm a tithe and an offering giver. When I came to the ministry back in '98, I was making less than $12,000.
Wow.
Went to work, and I think the company tried to embarrass me because they told me I needed to apply for a credit card because I was traveling with them. But you had to have income above $12,000 to qualify. And I said, y'all knew that before I filled out the paperwork. So you set me up to be embarrassed, but that setup set me up for a comeback to learn what I learned from them, to learn how to go down to the tax assessor's office, to learn value, to learn how surveying work and things of that nature coming from property. So when I say I became full circle, every job I had, I took some from it to add to me to do personal business from that standpoint. So those things really helped me from a standpoint to help me understand what I needed to do to grow from that standpoint. And I would tell anybody, I bought properties. My first 4 I bought myself. Second 4 I had my wife to buy. Third 4 we bought together. And banking was doing different strategies from there. And then when I got up to 12, they say, Duncan, credit union, you're not growing. You're gonna have to find your banking relationship.
Wow.
So that's when I went to, it was Wachovia at that time. Started doing business with them. Never had an account or anything, but I wanted to do business with a bank from that standpoint to keep it moving. And I told the guy at the bank at Regions, I didn't buy any houses through Regions, but I told him, I said, I want to be a millionaire before I get 30. He said,
well, did it happen?
Not the first million, second million.
Oh,
asset rich, yes.
Well, let's say something. This is something a lot of people don't know. They think a lot of people rich are cash rich.
Wrong answer.
You know, that'd be the dumbest thing possible, because inflation and it eat your money up, and everything else eat your money, your family and friends.
Oh yeah, real quick.
It's a story I heard about this man. He found he was walking down the woods, and he found a golden egg.
Okay.
He found a golden egg, and he thought it was a golden egg, so he picked it up and he took it home. He looking at it. He went and got it appraised. It was solid gold.
Yeah.
It was a gold egg.
Yeah.
And so he walked down that path again, and you know what happened? He found another gold egg, man. And every day he would walk down that path, and he would find a gold egg.
Wow.
One day, he heard something in the bushes going honk, honk, honk. And there was a goose in there. I guess that was the goose that laid the golden egg. So he grabbed that goose and took the goose home. He didn't walk down that path no more, because every day, man, that goose was laying a golden egg, man.
Wow.
He was laying a golden egg. And man, this guy here was getting rich and rich and rich. He was getting richer and richer. Only problem was he was getting 1 egg a day, and he wasn't getting rich fast enough.
Okay.
So you know what he did? he said, I'm gonna cut this goose open and get all the eggs out of it. And he cut the goose open and killed the goose and no more eggs. And I think that's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They gut the goose. And the reason I was saying that is that you want to be you want a goose.
Absolutely.
Keep
laying them eggs.
You want a goose, but sometimes if you're too greedy, you want to kill him because you don't get it fast.
Yeah.
They say that a dairy farmer and a cattle rancher are different. A cattle rancher is in it for the killing. But a dairy farmer is in it for the milking.
Hello.
And see, but if you milking, you can breed your cows and keep on milking. Sell a couple of them, but you keep your cows. But if you killing your cows, you got to always be trying to look for a new cow.
Yes.
And that reminded me that when I was hearing you talking there about, you want to get the thing.
Absolutely.
Get the thing.
Absolutely. And one thing I'll add to it, like I said, growing up in all the projects, when I made it to the Hunter Station community, those of you know Hunter Station, that's where I did a lot of my growing. My mom decided to let me stay with my grandparents, and they raised me from that standpoint. That was the most stable I had become from that standpoint. And I can clearly remember that was probably before I turned 12, around the 4th grade, that I moved in with them. And then life took off from a stability standpoint from there. But I could still go back and visit my mom, my sister, and them.
You left out a part early about your military career. What was your rank that you retired in? How old were you when you retired, and what was your rank?
I retired at 40, and I was a captain at that time. I went all the way up on the enlisted side. I was looking to go to the Sergeant Major Academy. That's E9. That's maxed out on the enlisted side that I was planning to go through.
Tell them about the teeth.
Oh,
and the clothes. The 2 stories about the teeth and the clothes.
Tell you a story. Back in around 16, I worked on Maxwell at Air Command and Staff College. I had a black colonel that I always dressed loud.
16, you mean?
Yeah, I was age 16.
Okay. All right.
Age 16, working out there with a summer job. And the colonel saw me. He said, "Come here, Duncan. Let me talk to you. Man, you look good, but that ain't appropriate for this work atmosphere." I caught it.
Was he a white guy?
No, black guy.
Because if he'd been a white guy, they said that was racist.
Yeah.
You don't.
And
know
I probably would have
culture.
took it different.
You would have took it different.
Yeah, I would have took it different. But by him pulling me to the side, he didn't do it openly from that standpoint. He just said, "Come here, let me talk to you." I had on some yellow pants and a red shirt. I thought I was clean. I really was. And he just broke it down for me from that standpoint. And years later,
what do you mean by not appropriate?
For the atmosphere that they work in, that's too loud.
I got you. I got
And
you.
we've been taught the loudest one is the weakest one.
Yeah.
And I always thought loud was strength till I understood different.
Right.
And years ago, I was in the university. I was going to college. He was one of the instructors over there. He had retired, but he was flying back in from Michigan to Montgomery, and I got a chance to talk to him. I said, "What you downloaded in me really helped me." On the gold teeth, that was a family tradition. I always wanted my gold in my mouth. It cost me more to get it out than it was to put in. But
what you had up there?
I had a star and an open face.
What about?
Oh, in the front, right up front, my 2 front teeth. Yeah, and man, I enjoyed it. But around 98, 99 time frame, my wife always recognized stuff different in me than I recognized, but I wanted to hold on to. Like I wear a lot of gold now, but I take it off. If it means working the next business deal or transaction, I ain't gonna distract you from that. But them goals, they were real. There wasn't no crown. I couldn't pull them out. Once I took them out, she said people would respond to you different and better. And from that point forward, entrepreneurship took off from me because I wasn't stereotyped from that standpoint.
And see, I think that's a lesson that a lot of our young people can get.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get offended. They thinking, I can't wear my
tattoos and all that.
Tattoos out. Yeah. But in reality, you kind of, it ain't about the culture that you from. It's about the doors and the areas that you're going into. You want to be able to go into a lot of different places. And I can relate what you're saying because I thought people was just trying to change me.
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, man, what's wrong with my culture?
I'm bucking.
I'm from the hood too. So I'm thinking like, hey man, that's just y'all's flavor. This our flavor.
Hello.
But in reality, if I want to do business with their flavor, I can't be threatened.
Absolutely.
I can't seem to be threatened.
And I think that's the crossover piece you're talking about. When you dealt with music and things of that nature, how people perceive you and where you can take what you're trying to put out, where you can take it to in different venues, different states, different countries, and that's how I look at it from this point forward from that standpoint. And that's why I don't teach my kids tough love. This is real love I give. It just feels tough.
Well, real love is tough, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you something, because hate easy. Hate easy. Folks, I can tell you, I ain't got to have no, you can hate your children, don't do nothing. Just let them fend for themselves in life.
Absolutely.
And then it's easy for you, But love is tough. Man, if you was a teacher, if you had like a 2 or 3, 5-step thing for people that wanted to get a first piece of property, I know you can't do it in depth, but how would you outline that?
I would outline it. First of all, you have to be comfortable with yourself. If you ain't comfortable with yourself, you're going to always make excuses. I need to clean this up. I need to do this different. I need to make this better before I can do this. No. Jump out there. I tell any person that want to do business, 18 to 25 is your years of that you can go in and recover through the ups and the downs from that standpoint.
If you ain't got a lot of children.
If you can have a lot. You still got to take some risks and some chances.
Well, I was saying the recovery.
Yes. Oh, the recovery is much longer.
There'll be a lot of fallout for your kids, I think.
Yes. But the first step is getting comfortable with yourself. Mm-hmm. Second one is make up your mind, this is something I want to do. Do I want to do this? How I want to do it? Am I a flipper? Am I looking for monthly income coming from this?
Are you against flipping?
I'm not against it at all.
Okay.
Not by a long shot. That's what I tell anybody. Any of my tenants I ever dealt with, I told them I'm not holding you hostage to rent. If you want to buy, if you get approved, we take you through courses, and I introduce several of them to mortgage company, and they'll tell them what they need to do in the next 12 to 18 months to be in a position to buy. And I always told them, if you get approved, you ain't got to buy mine. Mm-hmm. And that's what I hold to.
But because I want to get back to your steps.
Okay.
But if they flipped, if you did somebody who is flipping, you would tell them to take that money and buy another cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can milk. Don't just
buy one though.
Don't kill a goose.
No doubt.
Okay.
Buy multiple cows, because a lot of times we have more to work with than we realize, and everything we get in, we ain't got to spend up and eat. You invest some. You save some and you spend some. You want to enjoy some of your life. And that's what I always told people. I never wanted a house I couldn't enjoy. My family there, and they inviting family over. I owe, so off to work I go. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, I want to enjoy. I want to be there. I ain't finna leave y'all in there enjoying and y'all see me leave out.
All right, step 2. Now going back to step 2. Step 1 was you said get comfortable in yourself.
Get comfortable with yourself,
so you can make the right decision when you come.
Absolutely.
What was your next step?
Step 2, find something you really want to purchase. From that standpoint,
how do you know what you want to purchase?
If you're a dreamer, if you're a visionary, if you see something that move you, you say, I like that car. Well, I don't just want it for me, but I want it to sell so I can make some money off so I can buy the next one.
They got to be able to recognize the deal, though.
They got to be able to recognize and negotiate the deal.
Okay.
See, your mouthpiece is a strong piece. If you can't negotiate and walk through these lanes, you're going to get a lot of rejection. And sometimes people stay away from doing business because of so much rejection.
But I found, that's why I wrote 2 books. My other book I wrote called Not How to Stop Being Poor. That's my second, How to Stop Being Poor Before Trying to Get Rich. But my first one was saying the psychology of poor people, crossing that line. It's like a line that people are afraid to cross. It is psychologically there.
It is. It's an invisible line.
Right, it's an invisible line. And so some people don't know that they can negotiate. They thinking, I ain't got nothing, I ain't nobody, so they don't know how to. Some people think it's not fair if they don't get what they deserve. I know what I deserve. They don't know that you get what you negotiate. You don't get what you deserve. So I know that's a whole nother hurdle. You have to teach people how to, I guess that go back to being comfortable with yourself.
Absolutely.
Go back to you get comfortable first.
Get comfortable first.
With yourself first.
With self.
With self. Then you can go and find what you want to negotiate.
See, I stayed uncomfortable so many years till I got comfortable and I saw something.
How
I recognized it? Because I had been moving all these years with no stability.
I got you.
And to be honest with you, I told my mama when I was at 12, I said, we ain't supposed to move like this.
Wow.
I recognized it at 12. And I told her in 2005, I said, when I get old enough, I told her prior to 2005, when I get old enough, we're going to buy you a house and you're going to have to do this. 2005, we did that. 2008, she checked out of here.
Wow.
God honored a little lad request from that time span. And she can tell you, we bought her 2 houses. She didn't care much about the first one. It was in the same neighborhood, but it was a 2-bedroom no tub, just a shower only. But I just wanted mama to have something. And then I went around the street. They had one. Oh my goodness, probably not many people would have looked at it and purchased it. But I just saw all the value in it. I saw everything I wanted for her. I saw the den. I saw the kitchen. I saw the 3-bedroom, the 2-bath. I called my crew. I said, there's a house over here I want y'all to go take a look at. Tell me how much it's going to cost. $13,500 again. I spent $25,000 on that.
Negotiation piece.
Yeah.
$13,500.
$13,500 on them doing it from the roof to the floor, screen doors, ceiling fans, tile throughout, changed out all the toilets and everything. So when mom went in there, she died out of that one.
Wow.
She died out of that one. So I'm so pleased with God. When you ask me about the God piece, it's always been a part of me. That's always been part of the formula from that standpoint, and I wouldn't change that. I'm so far out there now, I'm either drown or I got to swim with it.
And it always amazes me too. A lot of times people think they have real success outside of God, and
ain't no success without it.
I don't think so either. But
it can look like success.
Some people just want money, you know.
Yeah.
And they'll do anything to get it, you know.
Until they find out they lost what they had when they got it,
or they never attained what they really needed.
Yes.
And that's how it is. So just give me one more, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up. One more thing that you would.
One more. Pick a location. Pick a neighborhood. Several.
The best neighborhood?
No, it ain't got to be the best. Make your bid on at least 3 properties. If all 3 of them come back, you got a good problem. Because if you bid on all 3 and all 3 of them come back to you for the price you bidding on them, you got a good problem. Now you got to negotiate.
If you make
which
a
one
bid
I
on
want.
all 3, do you have to pay for all 3?
No. That's just conversation fee. You want to put more out there than you can get. A lot of time, you don't know who gonna come back, who gonna counter, so you're dealing with negotiation behind the scene that people don't see. And then
negotiation is the big piece.
That's what's gonna unlock all this. It's the big piece. Because I can come in and bid on 3 and get the bid on all 3 of them at that price. But if I want to get out of a couple of them,
I'm hearing you. No, I'm hearing.
I can find something.
No, I'm hearing. It ain't what to do, it's who to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to be that person first. That's what I'm hearing.
That's why you got to get comfortable with yourself.
Comfortable with yourself. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Got to be the person, and you can do the thing.
Yes. See, I always talk bigger than what I've been. I always had more faith than funds. So I could talk the talk from what I came out of from that standpoint. And then God allowed it to take place to make me more of a believer and make the people around me believe. They saying, how you pulling this off? I know this dude. I know where he came from. I used to watch his pockets. He ain't had it in his pockets.
And I think too, because I speak for myself. Sometimes we outsmart ourselves.
Yes.
Because we want the things, and we ain't getting the things right now. We think we're a long way off.
Yeah, wrong answer.
We think we're long. See, I already know.
And see, I wasn't stuff driven.
Right.
I didn't have this. I had to have the stuff to have people to believe who I was.
Right.
That came down the road.
Right.
My first designer piece came out I was 40.
Wow.
Even though I dress nice and was clean every day, I'm a solid color man because I'm colorblind. So most time you gonna see me in solids. And most people don't catch all that unless you tell them that kind of stuff. But it matched well. It looked good.
Listen, I want y'all to leave a comment here for Joe. Leave some questions. I think Joe could do a great class for people. I really do. I think the class. I think Joe's kind of like what I desire to do. I desire to talk to people that come from places like me. I can talk to anybody.
Absolutely.
I can talk to people that come from greater places. I got high confidence in me too.
Hello.
but I do know the hurdles I had to jump.
Yes.
And I ain't about to get no stuff to get to where I am mentally and spiritually.
I'm tracking
on the inside. So I think those are the key components that's missing when you have people trying to teach people how to build wealth. People think they're gonna grind themselves to death to make money.
Oh, you're gonna get death,
and you will get death. or people think they're gonna neglect everything in life to
Wrong
get
answer.
stuff,
No.
and then they won't have family and friends and peace in life.
I would tell anybody all extremes are dangerous.
All extremes.
You have to bring balance to this thing. Family time, church family time, school family time, kids time. It has to be a balance across the board to make all these components work. Are you going to do the best job that you think you can do? Probably not, Because you can always look back and say, I could have did something different right there. I could have made this different. But if you giving it your best, that's what I tell my kids. Everybody A ain't your dad A. You might get an institutional A, but it might be a C on my level, you know. And I always give them stuff from that standpoint to keep them growing and to keep them aware. Don't let systems make you from that standpoint. Don't let money make you. You make the money and send it on the way. If they told you can't eat a hamburger today, go buy 3.
3 of them.
3 of them.
And look, give me one of them, ain't got no bun on it.
Absolutely.
Extra meat.
No bread.
Look, before we get out of here, what we expect from you in the future? What's some of your next moves?
My next move, I'm looking at doing a development. That's what I'm trying to birth right now.
Development meaning?
I'm looking at doing what I call, development community. I'm calling it 60 over 60.
Okay.
I'm looking to target people age 60 and above, and I'm looking at doing 60 units in that community.
60.
That's what I call it, 60 over 60. Because I'm so close to 60 now, I still make noise, so I got to get it above 60.
Don't 60 sound so young.
And I got the idea, be honest with you, living in Florida, 55 and older community.
I got you.
So I decided I want to go 60 over 60.
You in the 55 over community?
No, I'm not now. I'm saying that's what they target down there in Florida. They got a lot of those type communities.
Some younger people in your neighborhood.
Oh, now when you do those type communities, you got to realize they set aside 20% for people under 55.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people don't know that, but they can't discriminate from that standpoint. So they put a percentage out there. You know, but you know when you get into those communities, you ain't gonna have kids, grandkids, all that running around living in those properties.
The 60 over 60, you know what city, town?
City of Montgomery.
You want to do the Montgomery?
Yeah, I got some acres downtown Montgomery, and I had my main guy. He checked out of here on me that he had started running with it. But as a matter of fact, I talked to a young lady today, said she could take it and run with it from that standpoint. So we working some things. I'm looking at doing that development. What it is 20 triplexes. That's where the 60 units coming from.
Okay.
So I'm talking to people that you might have a husband and wife living there, or just a single individual. So I ain't looking for no major community. I'm looking to have a mess hall on what I call a mess hall, but it's some place you can go eat if you don't want to cook in your house. Wow. You like a little common area, and then a little trail to walk around if they want to walk around.
Super, man. That's amazing, man.
Yeah,
man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I wish we had. We gotta wish we gonna do this again.
Absolutely.
We'll tackle some other spaces, but we've been talking about doing stuff like this for a while.
Absolutely.
I mean, way before I got started doing these right here. But I think Channel 13, this was a perfect place to set it off. You know, I don't like to really say this around other people because sometimes you say it to people, it kind of people might take it the wrong way, or people might think you flatter them. But you definitely one of the people that I watch, I look up to, I listen to, I pay attention to. You know what I'm saying? Not because of the things you have.
Yes.
But just the way you operate, the way you think. You know what I'm saying? Because there's too many people that's copying other people, what they're doing, and they're not that person.
And I would tell anybody to fact check me.
Yeah.
I ain't read no books on this. Ain't nobody came and taught me this. This is one of the gifts God gave me. I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and do this like a preacher do the word. Right. Because that's what's in me right now.
And that's why I wanted you here. You're authentic. Because some people think that the only way you make any money, you got to do something crooked. You got to take something from some people. You got to be bad. I've literally read somebody saying that today on a post. They think it because the man was trying to explain to people how to build wealth, and they say, "Oh, the only way people get money, they had to take it from the poor people." But in my mind, I was thinking, if the poor people so poor, how you gonna take the money from them they ain't got?
Hello,
you know that don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But and I had my cousin told me that one time, everybody who makes money had to do something wrong, and I was thinking that it's not that hard. The government gave us some stimulus money one time, right? And then everybody saw that Jeff Bezos got richer or Walmart got richer. They got to do anything wrong. Guess why? Because they produce stuff. Yeah. And you took your money and gave it to them. And you're a consumer. You gave and you consumed and gave it to it. So if you want to create something in the world that people need or want. Yes. And I think you don't have to be a bad person to do that, and that's why I wanted you here today on Channel 13.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity.
No,
and it'll be another
opportunity one for me. I appreciate you coming.
Yes.
It went up because you could be anywhere else you want to do.
Yes.
Where else you want to go? I got a man sitting in my place. He made his couple million before he turned a certain age, and that's a testimony.
It is.
We lived in some of the same communities.
Yes.
Our families might know a little.
Oh, no doubt.
Other. And so the thing about it is, and we didn't even. It's funny, we didn't even know each other. We lived in the same. We missed each other in passing.
Oh yeah.
But no, the pleasure and the honor is mine to have you here, man. And we want you to come back again. And we definitely hope we get some feedback. I'm sorry, but we definitely hope we get some feedback.
And we will.
From people, so we'll know if they got any questions to ask you when we have you back next time, you'll be able to answer those questions.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Good to have you. Man, this is Channel 13. This has been episode 2. After a while, we're going to quit saying what number episode it is. We just in the beginning, y'all. So I want y'all to stick with us. This is going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Audible. And I want you to share it with your friends. I want you to watch it. I'm sure it's something that was said today that could spark something in your mind, in your heart, that can put you on the path to where you really want to go. Thanks again for coming today. Joe, this is Channel 13. I'm Marcus V. Brown, your host. Our guest again, Joe Duncan. And we'll see y'all next time.
Thank you.
All right, God bless you.
My name is Marcus, man. Don't